These fools, they'll never learn.
Let's go ahead and jump in. So I watched the film. I've watched it twice now. I've watched it twice over the past 2 days. And all I can say is I don't even know what the word is. I was utterly wowed by the film because I went in expecting one thing and actually got something completely different. So I went in expecting almost like a throwback to the 1990s kind of tournament, foreign country tournament film thing. And what I got is this stunning action drama thriller. It's a monumental watch. It's got the drama of a Shawshank Redemption, and it's got the action of, well, a Scott Adkins film. So you are credited with coming up with the story for the film. What made you want to tell this story, or how did you come up with it?
I mean, it's not the most inventive story, if I'm honest, but I just kept thinking I have different ideas of different films that I'd like to make. And obviously I make action martial arts films, but I always sort of look for a different genre to do that within. Here we have the war film, the World War II war movie.
Yeah.
But I just kept on thinking of wouldn't it be great if it was this sort of deer hunter scenario where, because I know we wouldn't have a big budget to do the bridge over the River Kwai, so to keep it quite intimate, a few guys captured behind enemy lines and Japanese prisoner of war camp, because you got the martial arts element there.
Yeah.
And I love those survival sort of stories. And how could we come up with an idea where an English guy who grew up in Hong Kong and would have some ability as a martial artist, which would be a real surprise to any Asian guy at the time, like, how the hell do you know this? But to be put in this scenario where he's being put to the test, it was almost like, do you remember the film Escape to Victory with Stallone?
I do.
It was almost like, let's do the martial arts version of Escape to Victory on a much lower budget. And that was the idea, basically. And then Mark Klebanoff, the producer, took that idea, wrote a great script, incorporated the Death March, which is a real thing and everything in Batam in the Philippines, and did a much better job than I could have done. But he took that initial idea and went with it.
Yeah, it's really impressive. And you talk about not having kind of obviously the budget that a huge film like a classic war film may have.
Yeah, never do.
But I'll tell you something, watching that film, the filmmakers, everyone made the best of that budget because it felt huge. I know that the scope is not claustrophobic per se, but it's in a small prison camp and it's kind of tight. But the film, it looked like a huge war film, and I just loved it. I thought it looked gorgeous. Obviously, Louis Mandylor directed the film. Were you discussing this film with Louis Mandylor on Debt Collectors by any chance, or did you not have the idea back then?
I did have the idea back then, but we didn't talk about it. Well, first of all, the producers did a great job. And look, if you're filming in the Philippines, you just point and you shoot because that's what it's supposed to look like. We obviously built the set,
right.
And it's pretty much one location and in the jungle. So you point and you shoot and you've got it. And we're filming in July, rainy season in the Philippines, which wasn't very clever, but that's what we did. But it actually looked good when
great.
We weren't like having sets blown away in storms and whatnot.
Wow.
So that was great. The producers really did a great job. Louis Mandylor is a fantastic director. He's obviously a brilliant actor. So as an actor's director, and what he knows to say to the actors is really great. And he can strip away all the cheese from scenes that aren't working. But he's got a real keen eye for cinema and operatic filmmaking.
Yeah.
And then the ace in the pack really is Nico de la Feur, who's our DP cinematographer, and he's fantastic. Wow. And the way he shot it, everything fell into place. And you wouldn't know it if you went onto the set, you would have just seen chaos, people screaming at each other, and an absolute flipping nightmare.
Wow.
I did my hamstring in and all sorts. But
Really?
it all works out in the end. But it was chaos on set a few times.
I was actually going to mention that because it looks like a particularly grueling shoot. Just because the film, I mean, obviously it's translated in the film. The film is fairly brutal in what's going on, and then of course the action is just bone crunching. I think I don't know. I think there's a whole bunch of elements to this film that really work together. For example, one thing that stood out for me is the score. That really surprised me because it's incredible and it really adds to the film. Really blew me away.
Yeah, I can't even remember the name of the guy that did the score, but it's one of Lewis's friends and did a fantastic job. You know, we got great performances in there.
Yeah.
The guy that did the fights, Stephen Remy, who worked on Monkey Man and shot the fights for Monkey Man. We had him. So obviously he's brilliant as well. We had a great Steadicam operator come over from Thailand that really helps like get the fights and be in the right position at the right time. And so just stellar performances from Peter and the rest of the cast. You know, everyone did a great job.
Yeah, it's really up there as far as action films of 2025. It's up there for me. I really, really I just enjoyed it both times as well, and I got different things. It's fantastic.
Yeah. It's great because, you know, I really work hard. I always do my best. And sometimes you don't get that result. It doesn't matter. You're not trying any harder, but sometimes it just doesn't come together. And there was a point where I was like, oh no, this is going to be another one of those. Everything was going wrong. I mean, when I first got there, it was, we had a flipping, what do you call it? A tornado or whatever it is. That just took the set away and all sorts of shenanigans. But yeah, I really trust Lewis as a director, and I can't wait to work with him again as a director or an actor or both.
Both, I really look forward to any future projects with Lewis. He's incredible. Going back to the action, was it the intent to have the action match the kind of brutality of the conditions? Because I noticed the action it's not toned down in its you know brutality per se, but you're not doing as many flashy kicks and spins and what I would say your trademark is in a way, but it's still Scott Adkins. It's still you just kicking ass basically, and it was different, but still very you. Was that a conscious decision?
I'll be honest, I tore my hamstring day one on the first fight scene, like pretty badly. So we were like, let's delay the fights as long as we can. And we already had to do the first fight, the opening fight. And then, so they gave me about a week to sort of get better. I mean, I tore my hamstring. It's never going to get better in a week.
No.
But actually, by the fourth week, it was in a place where I could kind of do everything that I needed to do. Okay. But for 3 weeks of the shoot, I was really, not good. I am doubled a bit in the film, had no choice. And that informed the choreography for sure. It would have been a bit more flashy if that hadn't happened. But we still would have gone for the gritty style. I mean, that's Lewis's sort of like, he wanted to make it rough and ready. Yeah. But I just would have thrown more kicks, I guess.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. It works perfectly in the setting. It really feels like almost like James Wright, the character. It almost feels like a kind of martial art that he would have learned from, Japan or in Asia. So it felt very kind of close to the character and how the character worked. It was very clever, I thought, even though it was accidental in a way.
Well, we went with the empty hand. The iron palm thing because Louis Mandylor is trained in that.
Oh, wow.
By a very experienced martial artist called Winston Omega, who hung around in LA for a bit, and he would strike these. Well, he would start off like with a punch bag, like with iron chains around it, and he'd be hitting this iron bag, and it'd split your knuckles, and you put some ointment on it, you come back the next day, you try again. It would build up these calluses on your fists.
Right.
And he told the story of Winston Omega. He would have an anvil, and he'd just be there, bam, hitting it with the back of his hand,
Wow.
with his palm, hitting it with the back of his hand, like again, and it would go, boom, boom. And he built up the calluses on his hand to a point where it was literally like a piece of iron. And Lewis has got fists and forearms like this as well. It's no fun doing a fight scene with them, trust me. And that is actually something we wanted to like have these flashbacks of my character doing that to explain the iron fist that he's got, which we didn't have time to do. But that's a legit thing that he's seen in real life and was trained in. So we wanted to put it in this film.
Okay. And was the in this film you have a chance to show off some weapon skills? You pick up a sword at one point,
right? Yeah.
Was that from the get-go? Did you want weapons in the film, or was that a result of unfortunately you getting an injury?
I don't know. That came in there, and I was like, yeah, all right, cool. I just went with it. I did like I like to use weapons. It's actually a bit easier than doing a fight scene with your fists. So.
Is it really? I would have thought it was harder for some reason.
Well, it's more technical.
Yeah.
But in terms of pain,
less painful.
It's less painful because you're not clashing bones the whole day. So I don't mind it. Yeah.
That's great. I mean, the weapon work in it's stunning. I think I'm not even sure the last time I remember you with a sword in a film.
Well, I had a bit of training in those old ninja movies.
Yes, definitely ninja. I think that might have been the last time.
Yeah. But when I was a kid, I did a lot of wushu kung fu.
Really?
So I'm pretty good at twirling the staff and other things like that.
I've seen you use staff in Ninja 2 as well. Yeah, I've definitely seen you use the staff. It's great seeing you use weapons. It's did you have to train in particular for this film, or was it kind of your regular training, quote unquote regular?
No, I just turn up and try and be in shape, and have my abs on show, and that's enough. I'm ready to go with everything else.
Hey, it works. If it's not broken, don't fix it, right?
Yeah.
I have to ask a question as a martial arts cinema fan, and I could be completely wrong. I'm taking a huge swing here. There is a moment in this film that reminded me very much of a scene from, which I'm sure you've seen, Eastern Condors with Sammo Hung.
Yeah.
There's a moment where you do a drop kick to two soldiers, and it's early on in the film, quite early, I believe, and it looks like almost like the drop kick that Sammo Hung does when he jumps up and kind of kicks two soldiers in the head. Am I just putting?
Is that because he kicks them like upwards, right?
He does. You fly forward.
No, we didn't think about that at all. But now you're saying it, I can see what you mean. I definitely get the Eastern Condors flavor. Yeah, it has that in the jungle fighting. I should have done that move where Yun Bu spins the guy around and kicking full force in the head. Yeah, that's what we should have done.
With boots.
But no, it was literally like, what kick can I do with a torn hamstring? I think I can do that one. Okay, let's do it. I still got doubled for that one though. Failed.
Oh, really?
Well, it's funny because it's like, shall I do it and risk making it worse, or shall I have him do it and continue to heal because I've got loads of other fights coming up? Maybe I can do it. Maybe you have to wait up. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
It's not, because we all know I can do it. I mean,
we've seen you do.
Yeah, I've done a lot of kicks.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, at this point, you don't really have to prove yourself. We've got it.
Even you don't. You don't, and you do.
I'm sure
you've got to prove that you've still got it. That's what you've got to prove.
Yeah, and I suppose there's still fans asking for it. I suppose, right? We as fans have kind of come to, I hate to say it, kind of expect a certain thing. But I love when it switches up and changes a bit. And in this film, it just worked great within the context of the film. It just the action is seamless. For those who haven't seen it, it does come out this week. This week it comes out September 19th. We're actually filming this prior, but it does come out this week when this video airs. And go ahead and watch it. I'm not going to drop any spoilers, no spoilers whatsoever. But for those that are, I guess, interested in something a little different, I think this is. The funny thing I said to my wife. This you might find this amusing. I said to my wife, I turned around and I said, my mum would like that film. And that is the ultimate compliment, because my mum loves martial arts films, but not when they're too, I guess she would use martial arty being the word, but there has to be like a drama that fuels the film. And then this, it just it just works wonderfully. Was it nice to play a British character or an English character? And actually, granted, you were doing a slightly different accent, but is it nice to do that?
Yeah, it was nice to do the sort of posher version of an English character, because I haven't done that often, maybe once before.
Right.
Yeah, I guess it's a cool character, you know, up on the streets of Hong Kong and being the son of a rich businessman and having a strange fraught relationship with his father, and his father was a war hero, and then his father passes on. And he's kind of living in the shadow of his father, so he wants to join the RAF, but he's also he's ran away and trained himself in martial arts and all this. I think you could make a good film about his backstory, to be honest. But yeah, it's a lot easier. Like the American accent, it's, you know, the more you do it, the better you get.
Yeah,
but it's always a lot more work than any regional English accent, which I can pretty much do like that.
Right. Right. I've lived in America for 22 years, roundabout, and I still can't do an American accent. If you paid me, I couldn't do it. Like, it just doesn't. You've
got to be pitch perfect with it, because everyone knows the sounds, especially if you're an American. Like if I'm doing a Russian accent, I can be off here and there, and you know, even a Russian probably doesn't pick it up as much because you're not speaking Russian, you're speaking English, so you can get away with it a bit more. But it's got to be pitch perfect American.
Has there been any discussions of building the James Wright universe? I actually put in my notes, I was like, this character has legs. Like, I'd like to see him again. And kind of, he seems almost like you say, his background and his story just needs to be told. And I felt that leaving the film. I was like, I want to see more of this guy.
I was saying it at the time while we're making the film. I was saying to the producers, look, you need to give this film a title that can allow you to do a sequel, because you can't do Prisoner of War 2 now, because you're going to have to be a prisoner of war again. But anyway, they didn't listen to me. But I was saying, you should call it something to do with his name or something. Anyway, but yeah, I felt like he's a character that could almost like be a martial arts Indiana Jones.
I thought the same thing, exactly the same thing. Yeah, James Wright and you've got like
there you go. That's what we need to do then.
Yeah, exactly. I think Jet Li did it with Dr. Y as well. Like,
we'll do a Temple of Doom, but we'll have like demonic Shaolin monks instead.
Well, I for one would absolutely love to see that. But there's been no talk of any kinds of sequel or anything coming up. Nothing like that. No, it's too early for that, is it?
Oh yeah, too early. We have to see if people like it and if it makes financial sense.
Yeah. Mate, that's yep, absolutely. So I think one of the interesting things. Oh, I guess you mentioned it earlier that Louis Mandylor has a hell of a vision. You know, he has this, like you said, operatic kind of eye for cinema. Do you notice that when you're on set? Like, can you actually capture that while you're on set and know, oh, okay, we've got something good. We're sitting on something decent here.
I noticed it
to you. You know,
well, first of all, I noticed that Lewis would be a good director when we were working together as actors, because we would break down the scenes together, and we would like get rid of all the crap and figure it out for ourselves. And on a low budget film, you don't have a lot of time to do that on set. So we'd do it in the trailer and we'd hit the ground running. And then, you know, he'd done some stuff before and he started directing, but some of his stuff he's done previous to this it's didn't have enough time to play with. But I got a sense that he'd be good, but you never know really. But when we're actually making the movie, there was a sense that I think this is going to be good, but you never know, because I've thought that before. Listen, I was on the set of X-Men Origins Wolverine thinking it was going to be good. So what do I know?
Hey, that film's underrated. It's underrated.
Well, I'll tell you what, you should have seen the edit that I saw of some of the action, but anyway.
Isn't that always the case, though? It seems to be that they just edit action. If
ruined
they don't know,
ruined it.
they just edit it. Yeah, it's Very sad. I think his
Well,
martial arts.
you think you know, but you never really know. You only know when you see that first cut. Well, not even the first cut, the first assembly, and then that'll be crap. But then when you have the first tightened up cut, and you might be like, oh, this is actually pretty good.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, I really hope. I mean, this has been a fantastic year for you because you had Diablo come out, and
happy with that
got
one.
great reviews.
Yeah, that's like an old school, full on martial arts action film with Marco Zorro playing that madcap crazy villain.
He's so good.
Yeah, great response to that again. And Nico de la Fer was the DP for that. Completely different looking film. Very much more gritty and immediate Diablo is. And then Prisoner of War's got that very cinematic, old school feel to it.
Right.
So he's great.
I wouldn't have guessed it was the same DP.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. They're so vastly different, but still both equally as well shot and conceived. Yeah. I think I want to kind of ask, I suppose, one last question. I don't, we're limited on time, but I just want to wrap this up with a neat bow, and that is, actually 2 questions, if that's okay.
That's all right.
Why did they change the title?
Prisoner of War.
Yeah, it was originally Death March, correct?
Yeah, I mean, various different reasons. I wanted it to be called Empty Hand, which is the translation of karate.
Yes.
But everyone's like, nah, Empty Hand. And then, but Death March, I never liked Death March because I know it's a real thing, but I don't know. I didn't like it.
On the nose, maybe?
Bit on the nose, but anyway, they said, let's make it Prisoner of War. It sells it. You'll know what it is. And the salespeople, they seem to like it. And you go, look, as long as they release it properly, fine.
Fair enough. Enough. It's a punchy title. It works very well. I guess my last question to you is, what's next? Can you talk about any plans for upcoming films, or are you completely tight-lipped?
Well, it's very close, so it is going to happen. And if it doesn't, I apologize.
Okay.
For jinxing it. But in about 2 weeks, I'm going to Romania to do a film called Bedlam, which is a film that is set in 1750, Georgian England.
Okay.
And it's about the famous mental hospital that was called Bedlam. And my character is a bit of a Roman circus type of gypsy guy who's taught himself a little bit of savate because he got to throw some kicks, but he's like a bare knuckle brawler.
Nice.
And he ends up being captured and put in this mental home and being experimented on and forced to fight mental patients. So
actually, to be honest, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it's really cool. So that's what I'm doing next.
Wow.
I'm going to be fighting some crazies.
Well, there's many versions of therapy, and I'm sure that can be one of them. Why not?
Yeah, getting your face punched, I find, always helps.
Well, that's incredible news. I'm very, very excited for that one. That sounds absolutely awesome. And let me please say thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it as someone who has watched your films for many, many, many years now. And my wife, honestly, she told me that she would literally divorce me if I didn't tell you that she thinks Avengement is the best thing since sliced bread.
She's a very wise woman. That's
she is. I have to say that, but she is. She is.
Sounds very wise.
Video.
Yeah, very wise.
Yeah.
I like her taste.
Yes, it's. I can talk about the film forever, but I won't. So thank you so much, very much. Thank you so much for coming on. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Go and watch POW Prisoner of War. It's out September 19th. It will be. Is it getting a theatrical run, Scott, at all, or is it just hitting streaming?
I don't think so.
Okay,
but I could be wrong. But look, it's coming out streaming, and you might have to, pay for it. Get the physical release if you can, Blu-ray, DVD, that sort of stuff.
Please
support the movie, support independent movies. We need your help so that we can make old school movies like the good old days.
Love to hear it. And everyone, I promise you won't you won't be let down. If you watch it and get let down, come to me. I'll refund you. That's a bold claim, but I'm that.
I'm going to send you all the negative reviews from IMDb. Like, oh, another refund here, mate. Sorry.
It's riding high on IMDb at the moment. I looked yesterday.
Let's see what happens when it comes out. No, I'm really happy you like it. I like it. I think people are going to appreciate the film.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Take care, and I will catch you next time.